Welcome back to the Tracy Take. I am your co-host Tyler here with my brother Ryan, and today we will be breaking down all of the NFC East team needs in the offseason and also review a little bit of the past season. We will start with the Washington Commanders, but before we get into that, if you have not already, hit that subscribe button and help Ryan and I reach our goal of 1,000 subscribers by the NFL draft. We are at over 500. We have already grown over 200 this year so far. It has been absolutely amazing to grow the community and have conversations with all of our new members. We greatly appreciate it. So hit that subscribe button, like this video, easiest way to help us out, and also leave a comment on what your thoughts are on the Washington Commanders offseason needs. And Ryan, let's begin. I practiced that in the mirror. I think I did a decently good job.
Yeah.
All under 46 seconds. Maybe need to trim it down a little bit. But let's just talk about the elephant in the room. We are recording this March 1st. Carson Wentz is not a Washington Commander. And that to me, I think it was honestly the biggest thing coming into this offseason was who was going to be their quarterback. Their defense is really good. Daron Payne was going to be a free agent, but it looks like they're going to franchise tag him and talk negotiations. That hurts my heart as a Falcons fan because I really wanted them to go after Daron Payne in the offseason. But that seems like that is now completely off the table. So to me, the biggest talking point is who their quarterback's going to be, because there was complete inconsistent play the entire season. At least with Taylor Heineke, you kind of could expect, like, okay, we could maybe put 17, 20, we can manufacture 17, 20 points on the board.
Yeah.
But I feel like that was kind of about it. Carson Wentz could get you to 30 or 40, but then he could also get you 9 as well.
Yeah.
And so what do you think they do going in this offseason? Do you think they roll with Sam Howell? Do you think they maybe try and make a move for Anthony Richardson, draft Tanner McKee, Hendon Hooker? Another option I haven't already mentioned.
Yeah. So for me, I think this puts them in the first round quarterback market. Especially, I think the Anthony Richardson one is appealing to me, especially with Ron Rivera working with Cam Newton in the past. I think that's a pretty comparable athletic specimen in Anthony Richardson to Cam Newton. So I do like that. Another thing, I think Will Levis would probably be drafted a little too high for them. But maybe adding another weapon, because they have what's the kid from Penn State?
Jahan Dotson,
and then Terry McLaurin from Ohio State. He's entering his 4th year in the NFL, I believe, which is a contract year for him.
Yeah.
So maybe adding another weapon and then drafting a guy like Hendon Hooker later on.
Yeah.
So I think they're in an interesting spot. If it's me and Anthony Richardson's there, that's really tempting.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
So I will say one thing: the Terry McLaurin, he does have a contract extension. He's signed through looks like 2025. However, though, adding another weapon, I think probably wouldn't hurt, especially in the tight end department. If they don't trade up, that is kind of a prime Michael Mayer tight end position right there. Logan Thomas is sitting at 31. John Bates, Cole Turner, I don't really think that they're going to cut it. I think they can get an instant improvement to that offense if they go and get Michael Mayer as well. And so I think offensively it's going to be interesting. Quarterback, going back to the quarterback, I think it's going to be tough for them to go and get Anthony Richardson because in the top 10 alone, there's 4 teams who are for sure going to be looking at the quarterbacks.
I don't know.
Colts, Raiders, Panthers.
But that's only if all those teams look at Anthony Richardson as a top 10 pick.
Fair. But then they're going to have to then wait for mid-second to mid-third, and maybe no one takes Hendon Hooker, or they go and get their guy in Hendon Hooker or Tanner McKee. So to me, if they were wanting to go and move up to Anthony Richardson, because I think that there's going to be four QBs taken in the top 10, just after looking at it and seeing the team needs, they're going to have to give up a lot just to jump above the Panthers. Like if they trade with the Falcons, they're going to have to give the Falcons at least a first rounder and then a lot more, I think, on top of that. So obviously swapping picks, a first rounder for next year, and then other swapping of picks.
I mean, we'll see. I don't think a lot of teams are going to have a top 10 grade on Anthony Richardson, but hey, it only takes one team. So
I think that's a separate video debate. I think that we're delving here because I think there is some top. There's a lot of top 10 buzz. I think we're going to find out more at the combine this week. We're recording this Wednesday, March 1st. But overall, though, I think that is going to be the primary focus for the Commanders this offseason because defensively,
and I was going to say, and rebuilding that O line. Those are the two big things for me. Because the defense was really good last year. I think they maybe could add another corner, but this is a pretty deep corner class. I think you can do that later in the draft. So maybe getting an offensive tackle and a quarterback with those first two picks, I think, are really intriguing options for the Commanders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's a good point, too, about the offensive line. I'm checking to actually see where they were graded amongst the PFF community. I'm blanking on that number right now. Let me see here.
I don't think
it's not looking good because they're 20.
You're still scrolling. 20.
I'm still scrolling. Yeah. So they're 20. So definitely going to want to increase that as well. So just consistent play and adding depth. And at that position, I can see Osiris Torrance potentially coming off the board there. There's going to be some other guys also that are going to be there. And so, who potentially could be there if they weren't taken already. Broderick Jones, Paris Johnson Jr., Peter Skoronski. So, well, to see. A lot of interesting things to go on. And that's kind of been the main issue with the offense. And actually, I'm just not remembering this point. This offense is going to be really fun to watch because Eric Bieniemy is now the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
It's going to be the first time he's really had the full reins to the whole system. Not saying that he wasn't doing a lot with the Kansas City Chiefs, but he was helping a lot. Obviously, great mind. I'm really hoping that everything that he did at Kansas City transfers over to Washington. Because you go look at that offense. I mean, Terry McLaurin can fly. Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuels, they could both fly. Brian Robinson, when he recovered from his injury and came back, he turned out to be a pretty decent running back, and I think they can even build off of that. So very kind of curious on how Eric Bieniemy institutes his philosophy into this offense because they have some pieces that are there. And then let's say they roll with Taylor Heineke or Sam Howell, and they think that they're the guy, or that just keep testing them out. You go get Michael Mayer as well, huge red zone threat. I think he can have a lot of fun with him.
Yeah, I also think Michael Mayer helps in the run game too. So if you go that route, I think he has a lot of versatility that Eric Bieniemy could utilize in some power, I get quote unquote power packages with a tight end in line. So I do like that pick. That is, like you said, Michael Mayer territory. What's their cap space look like for?
So with cutting Carson Wentz, not sure if this is updated, but as of now, it says 16 million. But I feel like that's too low.
So I have 8 million before Carson Wentz.
Yeah, so that's what PFS. And so we need to double check. I thought they cleared up 20 million. So that's what that. So that's why I question
million. Yeah.
Well, that's why I question that math doesn't add up. To me personally. So, but I could be wrong. I could have read it wrong. I think I read it the ESPN report when it came out.
My big thing too is there's a couple free agent wide receivers that are on the market that I think would fit really well in that system. I think you have Jahan Dotson and Terry McLaurin. Getting a Jacoby Myers or an Alan Lazard to kind of play a little bit over the middle, and you have those guys on the out wide. Should be good. Also, allocating that money towards a James Bradbury, steal a corner from the division, would also be a pretty good use of that money as well. So,
see, I would rather them lean that money towards Mike McGlinchey with the 49ers. I would rather them go and kind of help retool this offensive line a little bit more, because if you're looking for a slot receiver, there's going to be plenty in this draft. You can go get Josh Downs, Jalen Hyatt. You can go get a lot of slot guys that they can go get in the second or third round.
The Commanders have $35.3 million in cap after.
Okay, that's what I thought.
After the cut, yeah.
Okay, that's good. Okay, that's really good. So they have a lot of wiggle room now.
Yeah,
a lot of wiggle room. So, defensively, though, I will say let quickly transition over to the defense. I would say focus on the secondary as well. But overall, though, I mean, this front seven is still legit, and Chase Young didn't even play that much this year. So that's what's scary about it.
Yeah,
I think this defense. I didn't think we were able to see even the full potential of the defense. And so I still want to get better at the secondary. I think that's a route they could potentially go. Maybe start seeing the first that run of corners go off at 16 if they decide not to go tight end and they want to wait on that position as well. So because there's going to be a lot of good corners, I think that they could pick at 16.
No, I agree. I think it's a really interesting offseason for the Commanders, and I'm actually fairly optimistic for them going into 2023 with the addition of Eric Bieniemy heading the offense. I think they have an interesting outlook in the draft with, I think they have 8 picks. They have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 6s and a 7. So that's 8 picks. And so I think they could add solid pieces there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm interested to see what route they go and what positions they select, because I think they can go in a wide variety of ways. So I like what the Commanders have going on into 2023. Let's go ahead. Let's wrap them up right there.